Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Stike. I'm the theater director here at Lacey Township High School. We started a tradition last year, and this is the second year we're going to do it. A lot of these students go to college and continue participating in their theater programs at the college, and pretty much every college out there does what's called a student talkback night. And that's what we're going to do here tonight. We're going to spend about 10 minutes talking about the show, what it's like to put a show like this together, what their experience has been, and maybe if we have time, we'll take 2 or 3 questions from the audience. So, I have a couple questions I'm going to ask the kids on stage. They have no idea what's coming, so I'm just going to start asking them questions. First of all, let me acknowledge before we begin the other professional staff that has helped bring this to life. Mrs. LaCalandra, Mr. Holmberg, Mr. Corio, our cheer players, Mary and Jesse, and of course our technical crew up top there as well. We can't give them enough applause. They really do a ton of work, and none of this would be possible without them. So the first question I have is for Stephen. This is Steve Hensel. He is Ren McCormick, as you've all seen this evening. Steve is probably the hardest working actor that I have ever directed. And he's the kind of kid that this kind of actor makes me a better director, because he asks the right questions and he thinks about the character and he knows, you know, it's in his head. He's got talent. So Steve, please talk to the audience. How did you build this character? How did you develop Ren McCormick?
Excuse my voice if it goes in and out. I'm very tired right now. Yeah, about Ren McCormick. I remember when I first got the character, I'd go into Stike's office and I'd say, all right, time for character development. And what character development is when the director actually talks to each individual cast member who has a lead role and tries to get to know the character. Now, as you guys have seen, Ren McCormick lost his father and he's just with his mother moving into this new town where he finds out that dancing is against the law. And for Ren, dancing is how he gets out his anger, basically. That was the underlying emotion for me. It was anger all the time. I always wanted to get out all the hatred that I had for my father because he left me at the age of 17. And through Mr. Stike, we worked on songs like I'm Free. That was one of the toughest for me, actually, as the cast would know. I couldn't find the motivation for that song for the longest time. And it took me about a month or 2, and I finally went to Mr. Stike and said, all right, I found out why Ren wants to sing I'm Free. And another underlying emotion is the relationship I have with Reverend Shaw Moore here. I worked with Mr. Stike to discover that the true feelings I have with Reverend Shaw is I see him more as a father figure than anything, because as you guys saw in the great debate that we had up here that I was screaming at him about, we kind of had a father-son moment at the end when I told him thanks for telling me that my father missed everything by growing up with me. It was a long process, but I hope you enjoyed seeing me portray Ren McCormick.
Okay, next we're going to talk to Cara Dini, Ariel. Cara is one of the toughest songs of the show, Holding Out for a Hero. So tell us about the energy that it requires to be able to sing, dance, act on that level all at one time.
As you know, Holding Out for a Hero is really the most movement and powerful song of this show. It's supposed to be this crazy dream sequence, out of this world, strobe lights going and everything, and it's really tough to do a song like that. So we would always run around and sing while we were running just for practice of everything. And it really did take a lot for us, but it was probably the most fun song for all of us, because just being able to let loose, and you have to have so much power behind it and feeling, or else it's just going to be flat and boring. So really just to be inspired by the music and the words is what got us going.
Alright, while I'm over here, let's talk to Mr. Stromans. This is Brian Stromans, he's a freshman. And this is his first year with the high school drama club. So, what did you think? Anything you expected? More? Less?
I'm a freshman, and sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice, but I'm a freshman, and it was just a great honor to get this part, because I know it's a small part, but I've always been in drama club, and I love doing this, and it was just such an honor to do it. I didn't want to screw up, and I hope I didn't. So.
You did it right. You did it very well. Okay, let me see here. Megan. This is one of our assistant stage managers. She runs what? Stage left? Tell us about these scene changes. Difficult, easy, hard?
Well, usually we have a suicide scene. This year we had 2. It was a little difficult. We forgot a few sometimes, but we worked on it. We got it together. This is the first time I actually had power backstage. It's awesome. I tell them to do ridiculous things for Jolly Ranchers, and it works. I've just enjoyed it so much. Like it's awesome.
Thank you. All right. A couple quick notes here before we finish. While I was watching the show this evening, I was trying to do a little calculation in my head. These students, all of them on stage here, all of the cast members, have worked a minimum of 20 hours per week since January 3rd, putting this together. And the ones with the lead roles, they probably did another 10 to 15 hours on top of that, because when we weren't in rehearsal, they were in vocal lessons with Mrs. Lachlandra, Mr. Holmberg. They were in my office working on character development. So some of these kids on the stage have, in addition to going to school, done 35 to 40 hours a week to put this show together. So that gives you an idea of the commitment to bring a production like this to life. I think they've done a wonderful job. I'm very proud of our production this year. And do we have any parents out there that have a question for any of their students? Any of the students on stage? Any family members? Anything at all you always wanted to know about being in the drama club? Mr. Holmberg? Yes.
I don't know what Ren's motivation was, but I'm free.
I thought he told you. Ren, please clearly share your motivation with the audience for I'm Free.
I shared it with the cast. That's all that matters, right? Alright, so, yeah, this 2-month motivation I was looking for the longest time. Alright, so as we saw, Reverend Moore basically had the adults and the rest of Beaumont basically at his command. He's like, alright, so no dancing, and just like that, none of the kids were able to dance. I tried to think of the time frame in which Reverend Moore's son died, and I put it at like 5 years ago, so that made all the kids around, 11, 12 years old. So I thought that he didn't have as heavy as an influence on the kids that he did on the adults. And I think that Ren first saw that when Willard says, well, why don't we take the coach dance? And everyone laughs at it. And at that point, I think Ren clicks in his head, it's not the kids that have this mind control under them. And maybe if I preach to them through the song I'm Free, that I can motivate them to uprise against Reverend Shaw. And that was the inner motivation I had.
See, what I tell you, actors like this make me a better director because they're always thinking one step ahead of me, which is good. Any other questions from anyone in the audience at all? There we go. Okay, yes, back here.
How is it doing a candlelit practice?
Yes, we did. We've had many uphill battles this year. We had 3 blizzards over the course of the rehearsal period, and during tech weekend, which is when I write all these light cues, it was 70-mile-an-hour winds or whatever, and we lost power in the high school. So I was trying to write light cues with no electricity, which was fun. But we didn't waste the time. We worked on dance and song and music, and it was beneficial. But it was an uphill battle this year. It really was. But we pulled it off. Anything else? Last chance. Okay. Oh boy. Yes, Miss Tamburo. My favorite scene? Let me think. Well, for various reasons. I have a list of favorites. I love the energy of holding out for a hero. I love the characterization that the boys have in Mama Says. I love the emotional connection between the Reverend and Steve when they have their argument. I love the Almost Paradise scene up on the bridge because I think they do a wonderful job with that. So I really don't have one. I have many. So, okay? Cast, anything else anyone would like to add? All right, thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening.